Good, happy Tuesday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, New Hampshire doctor's wife stuck in Iran after Trump signs executive order. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
Right now, it's definitely very hard to kind of focus on day-to-day reality.
Dr. Omid Moghimi, a first-year resident at Dartmouth-Hitchcock Hospital in Lebanon, has been eagerly awaiting the arrival of his wife, Dorsa, since the two got married in July of 2015. Born to an American mother and Iranian father, Omid spent time growing up between the U.S. and Iran, where he met his wife.
We ended up kind of dating, falling in love, getting married.
For the past several months, Omid and Dorsa have been working with the government, going through interviews and procedures needed to bring Dorsa to the U.S.
I'm walking around, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to showing this to my wife and us going here and us doing that.
But now Omid's not sure if he'll ever be able to show his wife what the granite state has to offer. One day after President Donald Trump signed his executive order on immigration, and just days before their last interview with the National Visa Center, Omid received an email saying the process to bring his wife to the U.S. will be stopped for now because Iran is one of the 7 countries listed in the president's executive order.
You wait for your turn in line and you do what is requested of you, and then you expect a result to come from that. And now suddenly there is no result, and for no reason other than the fact that she's an Iranian.
Now, with his Dorsa stuck 6,000 miles away, Omid has been trying to find a resolution, but has since come up short.
This is my country, this is where I was born, this is where I want to live. It's absolutely ridiculous.
In Lebanon, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Report shows New Hampshire had roughly $160 million state surplus last year. Strong state revenue allowed New Hampshire to end the last fiscal year with nearly $160 million surplus. The final numbers are part of the state's annual financial report released Tuesday that covers the year ending June 30, 2016. The report says $88.5 million of the surplus went into the state's general fund, while $70 million went into the rainy day fund, giving it a much higher balance than normal. Business tax performed roughly 23% better than expected. Tax on rooms and meals also came in ahead of projections. Now, the budget's second year, the state is projecting a shortfall in health department. The budget ends June 30th. Governor Chris Sununu will present his plan for next 2-year budget next week. Democrats' boycott committee votes on Trump's pick for Treasury and Health and Human Services. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
Do it, Doc. Hurry up, Doc.
You can do it, Doc.
Helps keep your dog healthy at every stage, so you can always look forward to what's next.
The Senate Democrats have done everything in their power to slow the work of the Senate, while the president continues to take decisive action. Just like he promised during the thing. So it's unfortunate the Senate Democrats remain so out of touch with the message that the American people sent this past November. The people want change. President Trump is delivering that change. And the only response from Senate Democrats so far is to try to stall the core functions of our government. I know that I've repeated this every day, but honestly, it's getting a bit ridiculous. The idea that these highly qualified nominees have the votes for their nomination to be endorsed at a committee and get a full vote are being stalled because Democrats are boycotting the committee vote is outrageous. The mere idea that they're not even showing up to hearings is truly outrageous. So I'd like to give a special shout out to the folks at C-SPAN for making sure that all of these embarrassing actions by Senate Democrats get the wall-to-wall coverage that they deserve. Voters are going to remember what senators stood in the way of when President Trump trying to install his agency and department heads the next time their name is on a ballot. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but the numbers don't lie. 16 of President Trump's nominees to head major department agencies are still waiting to be confirmed. At the same time, in 2009, President Obama only had 7 of these people waiting confirmation. In 2001, President Bush had all but 2.
Okay, and there you go on that report. This is how the Fed could surprise markets Wednesday. The Fed is not expected to take any action, but it could turn sentiment Wednesday. Strategists say while Fed is not expected to rise interest rates, it could talk the talk of the confident sounding central bank set on hiking rates 3 times as it has forecast this year. That could be negative for bonds, and interest rates could rise as a result since many expect just 2 hikes. Trump's Supreme Court pick marks end of one battle, starts new one. Let's take a listen to this video from CNN.
Meanwhile, we will soon see crowds outside the U.S. Supreme Court ready to protest President Trump's travel ban. Among the demonstrators, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, who plan to call on the president to reverse his executive order on immigration. Tonight's protest comes as legal resistance to the travel ban mounts. Joining me now to discuss this and much more, Supreme Court biographer and CNN legal analyst Joan Biskupic. Joan, thanks for joining us. Do you see challenges to the travel ban potentially going all the way up to the Supreme Court?
I do, Jake. In one form or another, they're coming that way, either on the big constitutional questions having to do with just whether the president has this kind of power to exclude people, perhaps based on religion, or they could come up even sooner with just these the injunctions that have already been filed. But one way or another, it's headed to the Supremes.
Now, of course, President Trump, we're told tomorrow night, will announce his Supreme Court nominee. Do you have any feeling as to who it might be?
Okay, well, I think we're down to 3, and I can tell you that right now I can see on your screen Niels Gorsuch, judge from Denver, probably be the most traditional kind of judge that he would put on. Ivy League credentials, someone who's a inside the beltway sort of person. He started as a Senate page in Washington, even though he's like 4th generation Coloradan. He would be, I think he's probably the sort of person that the Republican establishment would want. Thomas Hardiman has a more dramatic story. He started as drove a cab as he got himself through law school, first person in his family to go to law school. But Jake, if you're talking about controversy like what we've seen over the weekend and what we could see going forward, William Pryor of Alabama would be President Trump's most controversial nominee because he's been so strong against abortion rights and same-sex marriage, gay rights. I think he would be the one that would be true red meat for the liberals.
Now, of course, there's this theory out there that if President Trump picks a more moderate nominee, that would comfort Justice Kennedy and might serve as a way of encouraging him to retire. Thus, Trump would get another pick. This is the parlor game we engage in Washington, D.C., as you know. Is that based on anything?
Well, it's based on this. Anthony Kennedy is 80 years old. He's wanted to step down for a while. I think that finding someone who's more moderate could maybe, especially someone who would carry out his legacy in the area of gay marriage and more moderate rulings, could hearten him. But I think Tony Kennedy is going to go when he needs to go. And as we've seen with him on rulings, he's prone to play Hamlet a lot with court rulings, and he'll probably do that with his retirement as well.
All right, Joan the Skipper, thank you so much.
Okay, and there you go on that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday night. I'll see you back here for your 8 p.m. news and weather. Good night, everyone. Bye.